So I just remembered to start the recording, so I'm going to start again, if that's okay with you. So again, I'm just really excited to be here and be here today with you for this first module of the Integrative Wellness Facilitator Training. And you know, you can mute yourselves, you can unmute yourself. In the lower bottom corner, there's a mute button. So if you see your little microphone on and it doesn't have a red line on it, please make sure to mute yourself, particularly if you have background noise going on. So yeah, so you know, I've spent years with desiring to have an online presence and an online course like this. I did one tiny little webinar many years ago that just is kind of, you know, I think it was for like 6 people. And so that was like 10 years ago. It's taken 10 years to finally get this together. And so I'm really excited to be here. And I really appreciate all of you being here too. So we were just talking a little bit about Zoom. So in the lower left-hand corner, you can turn on and off your video. You can turn on and off your audio. You can, and I keep having to go here for some reason, and mute videos, mute audios. So I apologize for that. I'll be sharing screens at some point to show you pictures. That'll take over your screen. There's a preference in the preferences window that lets you say whether you want that to be, you know, when I share the screen, for it to take over your whole screen or just stay inside the window that you've got now. As I mentioned, you have the choice of speaker view, which has me in it, and anybody else who then comes in and speaks, they'll take over that the large screen. Or you can be in gallery view if you want to see everybody else that's attending as well, at least the people that have their video on. So that's kind of how Zoom works. There's a chat area. So if you hit the chat button that's at the bottom, that'll bring up a chat window. You can type in questions or comments there. And I think you might be able to even send private messages to each other if you choose to do so. If you do, just the only rule is no dissing the instructor. You know, that's just completely, that's completely out. And, but you can type your questions into everybody, and I'll try and clue in every now and then and look at that. And so I can see, you know, if there's anything I need to address there. And so that's how Zoom works. Whoops. There we go. Yep, keep yourself muted. And the way to avoid feedback is to turn the speaker of your computer down a little bit. So if you've got it really loud and then you turn your mic on, it's going to cause that feedback loop. And then another way to avoid that is if you have a pair of headphones or earbuds with a microphone that you can plug into your computer, then that'll obviously avoid that too. Okay. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. You know, why did I even create this course? I created this course initially for essentially to either, you know, people who had no no experience in, I hope you have an interest, had no experience with muscle response feedback, or people who are already in the healing arts in some capacity, but not using muscle response feedback and wanted to learn how to use that as a tool to integrate with what they already know. What's been amazing to me is how many people have joined the course, even, you know, students of mine from over many years who have joined the course. I know that they know most of the material that I'm going to be teaching in this course. So I'm very grateful that you've chosen to come in, and hopefully I'll be able to provide some new insights for you as well. And, you know, we're just going to kind of all go through this together. So But we're going to start right at the very beginning with how to do muscle response feedback, and just start at that level. So for those of you that have a lot of experience, hang in there through some of this, and take it as an opportunity to maybe refine your skills a little bit, or pick up some new tips about that, and see how that goes. And of course, then your experience is also going to be great for the community at large. So if you haven't already joined the Facebook community group, IWFT community group, and you're on Facebook, please do go in and make sure to join that. That becomes a place for everybody to interact some and ask questions and get ideas and just say hi, tell about your experiences as you go through the course, all that kind of fun stuff. We are an international community here. I mean, the people that signed up for the course, I think we have 8 different countries registered, all the way from Australia, New Zealand, to the US and Canada, and on to several countries in Europe. So it's pretty awesome, and I'm really excited about that too. Let's see. So yeah, while the course is designed for people just starting, it is also a professional training. And for my experience, this work is so amazing because it lets virtually anybody be able to start to help people transform their lives faster than anything else I know. There are weekend courses you can take, and if you get good at doing what that course teaches you, and you practice and get proficient at it, you can start using that on people right away and helping people right away. It doesn't take years of training and clinic hours and being observed and getting licenses and all those kinds of things. Of course, you do still have to be aware of whatever the legalities of working on people, and in whatever state or country you're in, and I want to emphasize that. Nevertheless, you'll have the skills and the ability, and after these 7 weeks, you're going to have learned quite a bit. And if you just kind of note where you are now, if you're pretty new to this, and look back in 7 weeks, having gone through this course, I think you're going to be pretty amazed at what you're going to be able to do. So what I'd like to do as part of getting our community aspect of things going is have everybody just briefly introduce yourselves. So if you have video and you've got your video off, feel free to turn that on, and we're going to go around. I'll just go down the list and call names, and just say, give your name, where you're from. If you have any prior experience, just without going through a list of what it all is, just say something about how much experience you have. Do you work on clients? Do you not work on clients? Whatever that is. And just briefly, what your goals for attending this training are. And, that'll give us an opportunity to get to know each other a little bit. And so if you just take, at a minute at most to do all that, that would be great. So let's see, who we're going to start with. I am going to start with, let's go right. I'm going to unmute you. Let's go right to Heike in Copenhagen.
Nice, Adam. That
there you go. So say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody. I have had Adam as a teacher in Holographic Touch for Health 1 and 2, and he's just amazing. So this is why I decided to see, out of curiosity, what he's up to now. And I am not really working as much on clients. I have a training partner. We train sometimes some of the different modalities I have learned. I we have in Denmark a special modality, which you know from Anne-Marie, and so I know some different modalities: Adam's, Anne-Marie's, Sylvia Marina, and so a little bit. Let's put it that way. So, and what would I like more to know? Well, I just like to maybe to be a bit better in everything what I do.
Okay, great. Thank you, Heike. And hopefully we'll be able to provide that. I'm gonna mute you, and I'm just gonna go down my list here. And let's see. So that would bring up Carol Deacon. Are you there, Carol?
I am, yes.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm from Leicestershire in the United Kingdom. I don't have any experience of muscle response testing. I'm a certified Louise Hay Heal Your Life workshop teacher and life coach. I also work as a therapist doing hypnotherapy, thought field therapy. I'm a mindfulness teacher and I do Reiki. So I'd like to learn some new skills that I could use with my clients.
Awesome. Well, I think you're going to do that then. And I'm glad we managed to find you and get you in at the last minute. Sorry about the whatever confusions happened there.
That's okay.
Okay, so how about Allison? Allison's not on video, but if you can unmute yourself, go ahead and say hi. Are you there? It looks like you're unmuted, but we don't hear you. Allison? So we've got your mic unmuted, but apparently your mic's not working. So I'm going to move along, and if maybe you can, if you figure that out, pop me a little chat away and say, sorry, work computer issues. Okay, so Allison's typing in the chat that she's from Whitehorse. And we'll let her keep adding more if she'd like to do that, and we'll move along. So let's see, how about Donna? And Donna,
Hi.
there we go. Add your video there.
Did I add it?
It looks like
Well,
you
I tried to.
but it's still dark, so I don't know if that.
Oh, I know, because I always tape my video on my camera. So there we go.
There we go. Well, now you know that taping it actually works.
Yes, yes. So I'm in Falls Church, Virginia, in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. And I trained with Adam in 2006 and 2007 and 2008 in applied physiology. And this is a refresher course. And so happy to be here. And I do allergy elimination technique. I'm an environmental health specialist and bioenergetic therapist. And I just want to learn what's new. Anything new.
Well, I hope there's something new along the way for you, given the training you've already got. But thanks for joining, and we'll have some fun.
I think so.
Cool. Thanks, Donna. Okay, let's see. How about Donald? Are you there? I hear a microphone. No, we don't hear a microphone. Okay, wait, let me get you. I'm gonna unmute you. Try and unmute you. There you go. Donald, are you there?
Yes.
There we go. And we can see you. Hi, Donald.
Okay. Hi.
What can you tell us about yourself?
what can I, well, I operate in three areas of life. I'm a professional kinesiologist, and I wrote in my information sheet some people that you may know, like Arlene Green, John McGuire, Dr. Deal, and
Sure.
so forth. I've taken up quite a few courses, and from them, Touch for Health, and Dr. Do, and so forth. So, and Cheryl Taylor from Australia, Arthur Bablis. So I've heard a lot about you, and I've always wanted to take a course from you. The course, and so I was coming from Singapore back to the United States, and the email came across my computer, and I decided to finally take your course.
Great. And you're a chiropractor, is that right?
No, I'm not a chiropractor. I'm a naturopath.
A naturopath. Okay. Awesome. Well, it sounds like you've had some pretty good training. I hope you get something good out of this as well. And
I'm quite sure it will, because your worldwide reputation precedes you.
Well, thank you. I'll try not to feel too pressured by that.
No, I've heard about you from quite a few sources.
Okay.
So
and yet you're still here.
It's my honor to meet you and take a course from you.
Awesome. Thank you, Donald. Much appreciated.
You're welcome.
Okay, let's see. How about Floretta? You're here.
Hello.
Hi there.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Oh, good. I don't think I have I don't have a video though.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay.
You'll have to put a picture
from,
up into the Facebook group.
Yeah, it's up already. I'm from, I live on a small farm in Elmer, Ontario, Canada. And I've been practicing different modalities for about the last 20 years. And my favorites are Jinshin Shitsu, which is like a Japanese acupressure, and a Holy Fire Reiki, a Karuna Reiki, and a Rainbow Energy Healing. And I kind of know the basics of muscle testing, and I have somebody muscle test me regularly to help me with, to keep tabs on my health and vitamins. And I would love to just learn to be more proficient with it, and so I could help my family and friends and the clients that come to me now. I think it'd just be a wonderful addition to my toolbox.
Great. Well, thanks for being here, Floretta, and hope we satisfy those desires.
Oh, I have a good feeling about this. I think it's going to be wonderful. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, let's see. Who else do we have here? Helen Jarvis. I'm going to unmute you, and if you can turn your video on, that would be great. I haven't seen you in ages. There she is.
Am I there?
You are.
All right. I can't see me, but you can. That's great. It's good to see you.
You too.
So I think I'm a study junkie. I've done Touch for Health and professional kinesiology practice, applied physiology, K-Power. And where I get hung up is on testing people who've never been tested before. I can test experienced people who know what muscle testing is, and there's never any issue, and I can flow through all the different protocols. But working with new people, that's always been my stumbling block. So, hey, start at the beginning, and we'll do it again. And I'm sure there's going to be, it's going to be fun watching you and being with you doing this, but I'm prepared that I'm going to learn some good stuff.
Awesome. Thank you, Helen. Great to see you.
Good to see you too, Adam.
Okay. How about Jennifer Johnson?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hi.
Hi, Jennifer.
I am excited to be here. This is fun to get back into work. I've been caregiver for both my folks for the past 2 years, and I've been a massage therapist for the past 15 years. My body's wearing out, and I love working on people. I love the energy. And my 7-year-old recently had a lot of trouble in school, concentration, and I was kind of at my wit's end and going the psychology bit. And my mom saw a brain integration advertisement on somebody's car, and lo and behold, I took a shot and I talked to her, and she had the same experience being a parent, and went through some pretty exciting things for her son, and then having it gone through that, and I'm blown away, and a big response, and being able to communicate with my child like I really haven't. I have and I haven't been. He's got a new set of eyes, and it blows me away if I can be able to help other kids do the same thing. He's got allergy problems. I'm also curious about that. This is very refreshing and exciting, and I'm excited to learn. So thanks for having me.
Great, thank you, Jennifer. I'm excited to have you here. Okay, moving right along. Let's see, Kirsty. Oop, there you go.
Hello.
Hey there.
Hi, finally here. I'm from Australia. I live about an hour south of Sydney on a property, and
what is it, like 5 in the morning for you right now?
Yeah.
Good
sure
for you.
is.
Good for you for being up. Thanks.
Oh, thank you. I have no prior experience. I'm actually just at that stage of my life where my children are growing up. My youngest is 4 years old and at preschool, and just want to start a whole new lifestyle. I sort of have been on a little bit of a lifestyle change anyway over the last 2 years, but I'm hoping to move from my current life where I work for my husband and move into, this, natural, health field. And I feel like I'm just on this learning train where I just want to read and, learn so much at the moment. And so so that's why I'm here. I'm really excited to learn everything that I saw on your Zoom conference the other week. So yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Awesome, thank you. You spoke exactly the person that I basically designed this course for. So, that's great. And I'm so glad you're here, and I'm going to look forward to watching you go through it and see how it goes. So welcome.
You. Thank you.
All right, let's have a chat with Ian, all the way from Scotland. Ian, how are you? I think I unmuted you. Now I've lost you. Can you hear me, Ian? We're not hearing you, even though you're unmuted. Ian, wave to me if you can hear me.
My mic's not working.
Oh, there we go. No, your mic's working. We got you.
Oh, okay, Adam. Good to hear you. I was thinking it was a good job that my mic wasn't working because my accent might have scared some of you. But it's nice to be with you. Basically, I've got kinesiology training. I've always treated it as a hobby, to be honest. But I'm just fascinated to learn more from you, and it's great to be part of the group. And thanks very much for doing this, Adam.
Great, thank you. And, you know, I'm going to call on you every week just so I can get to hear your voice. I just love the Scottish accent.
Well, as they say, you can cut it with a knife.
Great, well, thanks. Thanks for being here, Ian.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see. Got a lot of people on. Who haven't we heard from yet? My list keeps jumping around, so it's hard to keep track here. How about Laurel?
Oh my gosh. Hold on a second here. You have me unmuted, but can you see me? I can't see me. Okay.
I can't see you yet, no.
Okay, hold on a second here. You got me now. Okay.
There we go.
I am wearing my little skull earrings. And I'm wearing some little pumpkins.
Ah, right.
Hi, everyone. I am so excited. Adam and I have known each other for, I don't know, 15 or 16 years, but probably easily many holographic lifetimes before that. And I am here to learn more. I've taken several seminars from Adam, including Touch for Health and Applied Physiology. And I teach physical education to 4th and 5th graders. That's 9 to 11-year-olds. I see 400 and something students per week. And I always give them little brain integration exercises to help them calm themselves. I teach them ESR points to help them when they get really stressed out or injured. You know, I can't do a whole lot in this public school system, but I also have a coaching business where I coach athletes with the sport of cycling. And I am wanting to more and more use these tools with them. So I'm just going to beef up my whole program, hopefully, and continue to have Adam around.
I'm not easy to get rid of.
And neither am I, as you're finding out.
Thank you, Laurel. Thanks for being here.
Okay.
All right, onwards. How about Lisa?
Hello.
There she is. Hi there. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yes, yes.
Okay, good. So tell us a little bit
Well,
about
well, I'm currently a registered nurse. Been a nurse for over probably about 35 years. And I got into the nutrition world probably about 8 years ago. And then I wanted to do this. So about 5 years ago, I just keep taking classes, and I take nutrition response testing classes. And I'm currently working with a practitioner on 1 day a week and learning her business and testing some patients here and there. And this course just really interested me so I could fine tune some of my skills and just to be able to get that lock. Sometimes I don't feel like I can complete the testing if I can't get that lock going. So I just need I need some fine tuning skills, I guess you'd say. But I'm very excited to get on this journey.
Awesome. And where are you from?
I'm from Gainesville, Georgia.
Awesome. All right.
Chicken capital of the world, I think it is.
Chicken capital of the world? Is that what you said?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I live in Petaluma, California, and we consider ourselves to be the chicken capital of the world.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you didn't know that, huh? This is a huge
didn't.
chicken community here.
It's good to hear.
Well, we're going to have to figure out who the real winner of
I'm gonna
that.
have to research that.
Yeah, we'll have to look into that. Awesome. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
How about Mordecai?
Yes. Hi, Adam. Hi, everyone.
Hi,
Happy to be
Mordecai.
here. I'm a professional kinesiologist. I'm trained in kinergetics. I was very interested in your courses, especially the applied physiology and holographic touch for health. As for now, I figured to jump into the basic course and hope to broaden my knowledge with this as well. So,
Great. And you are from?
Spring Valley, New York.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much. It's great to finally connect and have you here.
Thanks.
Okay. I keep seeing, I think it's Leon. And looks like we have two.
It's Susan Leone. 3 with Virginia.
There's 3. You're all together.
Yes.
Okay, so, well, tell us who y'all are.
Okay, I can start.
Okay.
I'm Virginia Caldwell, and we're in Orange County, California. The 3 of us, plus Jennifer, who you already met online. She's at her location, and she'll be joining us for future classes. I've been a applied kinesiologist doing brain integration and emotional traumas, PTSD, dissociative disorders work for about 8 years. And so it's time for me to have people coming in and backfilling me in our area. So I've got 3 very interested people, and you will meet the next 2 in just a moment. So really, that's all I have to say. And thanks for doing this class. I've been looking for a good way to get these people trained.
Great. Thank you, Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
My name's Susan Leone, and I also am in Orange County, and I'm a neophyte. I've never practiced. I believe that there is a higher energy and that we all have energy within ourselves, and I want to learn.
Awesome. Thanks, Susan.
Hi, I'm Susie Schultz. I'm also in Orange County. This is something that's kind of been on my peripheral for many years, but through the amazing work that Virginia has done for my daughter, who has autism, OCD, anxiety, and depression, and it has totally changed her life. I just realized that this is where I want to go, to be able to touch people's lives in the same manner that she has done for my daughter. Thank you.
Great. Well, thanks, guys. It's awesome that you guys can all be together and work together and play together and go through this together. So, and thanks for organizing that, Virginia. That's great. All right, let's move on to Paula. Paula, are you there? We just lost Paula. No, there she is. I've unmuted you, but I don't hear you. And your video's off as well. Sorry, I don't have a mic. Okay. Well, I guess we'll catch up with Paula maybe in the Facebook group, but thanks for being here. And let's see, we'll move. Oh, I know. Well, Paula's in an airport somewhere, I think, right now. So she's actually on her way here because for some crazy reason, I'm actually starting a live training here tomorrow for 5 days. So just to make sure I have things to do. How about Victoria?
Oops, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Hello, Adam. Hello, everyone. As Adam knows, I'm a complete newbie, and I'm actually an artist and work here at an organic nursery. I'm in Sebastopol, California, and I just think it's a very interesting techniques that I see Adam use and talk about. I think it's a life skill that everybody should have some familiarity with. I would love to be able to to learn a lot of the muscle feedback for myself as well as to use with others. So this is exciting. So thank you.
Thanks, Victoria.
And I'm on my lunch break, and so the reception is very spotty on my iPhone. So I might have to leave the group a little early, but I'm looking forward to watching all the recordings.
Cool. Thanks. You're coming through loud and clear, so it's fine. Okay, how about Roxana? No, it doesn't. Maybe Roxana doesn't have a mic. I don't see her. Oh, wait, she does. Well, maybe. Roxana, are you there? Maybe if not, then maybe you could type something in the chat. How about, let's see, Nancy? Try it. There we go.
Hi, Adam. Hi, everyone.
Nancy, how's it going?
It's good. It's good. I'm from Southwestern Ontario in Canada. I have taken other kinesiology workshops, but life always gets in the way, and I never practiced and mastered all the skills. So I'm kind of looking to review and refresh the foundations of the muscle monitoring and pick up new things that I didn't catch the first time. So that's what I'm looking for here.
Awesome. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Adam.
How about Willow?
Hello, everybody. I'm from Denmark and live in Norway. Do you hear me?
I hear you. I don't see you. Do you have it?
Sorry. Do you see me? Yes.
There you go.
Hello again. I have taken some classes in kinesiology, and here in Norway, almost nobody has met someone like this method, so I have to refine the methods to new, shall we call them new people, to muscle testing. So I look forward to that. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, I taught in Oslo a bunch of times a number of years ago, so I know there's some stuff going on there. Where are you in Norway?
About in English miles, about 100 miles north for Oslo.
Great. Okay. Well, thanks for being here.
Yes, thank you.
And let's see, Robin. How about Robin? Robin, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
There she is. Oh, there you are. Yep.
So I live in Escondido, California, which is a little north of San Diego. I'm a Touch for Health instructor and brain gym instructor, and have been doing nutrition since '92. And I just want to refine my skills. I haven't had a lot of practice over the years. Life always got in the way, and so I'd like to just regain better health for myself and for the people around me at this point. So thank you so much for offering this to us, and really super looking forward to learning from you.
Thank you, Robin.
You're welcome.
For being here.
Glad to be here.
Okay. Is there anybody I've missed? I think. I think we've heard from everybody we can hear from. If there's somebody that we haven't heard from, maybe type something in. Roxana did write something here. She said, sorry, don't have a video mic. I'm from Prestonpans, just outside Edinburgh. Another Scottish. I am an allergy elimination therapist, emotion code therapist, EFT, TFT therapist, and cupping practitioner, and looking forward to learning some awesome stuff. Great, thank you, Roxana. And Allison wrote earlier, I'm a Touch for Health practitioner and see clients, both people and animals, and would like to refine my skills and add more skills, and excited to be here. Kathy has apologized for not feeling well, so she's gonna skip this bit. Sorry about that, Kathy. Hopefully you'll get over that soon. And I'm gonna finish leaving people there. I think that's it. Oh, Carol missed me. Sorry, I don't have a video working, but I'll figure it out. Carol's in San Francisco. So that's everybody that's here today. And again, thanks for all coming today. And this is awesome. So now, obviously, a number of you, we've met before, and some of you have taken classes from me and all that kind of stuff. Some of you don't know me from Adam. Sorry. Sometimes I can't help myself. You'll get used to it, or not. So, if I don't know how many of you watched the webinar, but if you saw that, you saw me introduce myself there, and so I'm not going to go into any real long introduction here. But you know, the main thing I just want to say is, when kinesiology and muscle response feedback came into my life, it made a huge difference in my life with my personal health and growth. And as I began to explore it and learn it for myself, one of the most fun things for me about it was it became a never-ending learning experience. It seemed like every workshop I took opened up 3 new doors of things to go and learn more about. And because it's really a truly holistic approach. You know, that word holistic gets thrown around a lot, and yet this really is a truly holistic approach, because the information that you get from the body addresses physical, the biochemical, nutritional, the emotional, and the energetic aspects of our beings. And so, you know, I'd find something and it would open up some door to maybe some physical trainings, or then I'd learn more about how to work with emotions with people. And then I'd learn about nutrition, and then I'd get into all the metaphysical and energy stuff, which I absolutely love. And I would just bounce around and keep adding to my kit bag and keep finding things more that I could use to help people that would come to see me and be on my table. So, and that still goes on. And plus I do my own research now, and I'm looking into all kinds of fun stuff and developing my own techniques and ways of advancing the wellness picture. So for me, that's just been the amazing thing, and that I just love, and it keeps me passionate about it. It keeps me just, you know, very vibrantly involved with it all. And but I also love coming right back to square one and sharing these introductory techniques. I love watching the light bulbs go off on people's head. I love hearing about their first experiences of helping people and going, wow, I just did this little thing, and all of a sudden their pain went away, or they just were feeling better, whatever it is. It's so much fun, and so I'm really looking forward to doing this with all of you. So that's just a little bit about me. And as far as the course goes, you know, the course is built to be a foundational course. And while, you know, it's designed for people who maybe have never learned anything about anything involving health and wellness, and want to just start doing that and figure out a way that for whatever reason, they're drawn to helping people with their health and wellness. And yet, as I said earlier, it is a professional training. It's designed to help you, whether you start a practice and charge money or not, doesn't matter. You know, what it's designed to do is give you skills and tools to go out and help other people transform their lives. And whether that's just within your own family, your friends, whatever else like that, or if the opportunity is available to you and you decide it's something you want to do, and you can do it legally, then starting a practice and building, you know, your own business and income. One of the bonuses is designed specifically for that with my friend Dory Eder, and she's amazing. You're going to love her. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. And that's, you know, basically what the course is designed. And with that in mind, that holistic approach to give you at least, you know, a couple of tools in each of those areas so that, you know, you can address the physical, the nutritional, the emotional, and the energetic. So you're going to have tools by the end of these 7 weeks in all of those areas. And that's going to be a lot of fun. So what else do I want to tell you about that? So the first couple of modules, you know, are all about building that foundation, learning how to do muscle response feedback, do it effectively. It takes practice. And so, you know, I'm going to encourage you to be doing this as the course goes along, is find people to just grab an arm and do this on, and try and do it with, you know, at least 3 to 5 people each week, because that's how you get that experience of really feeling what it's like to get that feedback, because everybody's a little different and they respond differently. And you're going to see that in the videos that are in this module, some different clues of how to approach that. And I'll talk a little bit more about that too. Once we've got that solid foundation of making sure that the muscle's working and that the body at least has a particular level of balance in order to move forward, then we start building on that. And so modules 3 and 4, as I've been kind of putting this together, those are probably going to be the most intense of the modules. There's a lot of training in there. And so take your time with that, but make sure to watch the videos and go through the particular trainings that are involved there. But expect to perhaps need a little more time to put into those modules 3 and 4. And then 5, 6, and 7 then are just going to be kind of building, adding the tools. Module 5 adds the nutritional side of things. Module 6 adds the emotional side of things. And Module 7 adds the energetic side of things. And you'll have some of those beforehand, but that's what things are going to kind of build on that from there. In terms of practicing with other people, one thing I encourage you to do, this is an optional thing, but it's a really helpful thing to do, is to find one person, and perhaps a person who has some health challenges and wellness challenges, that you can go through the course with and use them as a case study. And in module 2, there'll be a little form you can use to kind of start tracking people. So in this first week, as you're learning just the basics of muscle response feedback, start thinking about a person that you can work with every week, applying the new things that you learn, keeping some notes, and just tracking their progress. And I'll be giving little clues about ways that you can do that. And, you know, it's going to give you a really good idea of what you can accomplish with what you're learning just in these 7 weeks. And I know some of you are experienced and you have lots of tools to use if you were to do this. The one thing I would say is do your case study using just the tools you're learning here. Try and really stick to that so that you can see exactly what you can do with just the tools you're learning in this course. So that's an option for you. Another option is that I can put together people. I was going to buddy people up, and so to have buddies along, because, you know, as you go through the course, as a few people have used the phrase, life happens, and things get in the way. And so by having a buddy that maybe once a week you connect with, whether it's, you know, on the phone or doing a little Skype or through email, whatever, better to talk if you can, just to kind of check in with each other. How's it going with the course? How, you know, are there things you're stuck on, or, you know, challenges you're finding, and encourage them, you know, to hang in there and stick with it. So if having a buddy to kind of move your way through the course, and if there are any of the experienced people that are willing to do that and maybe want to act, you know, as a mentor buddy to some of the less experienced people, let me know that, and I'll try and pair people up accordingly. I really appreciate you all sending in your pre-course questionnaires. If there's any of you that hadn't done that yet, please do that. I learn a lot from where you're at that way. And, you know, you don't have to do the buddy thing. So if you would prefer not to do the buddy thing, send me an email and just say, please don't buddy me up with anybody. And so if you do that in the next couple of days, that would be great. And then hopefully, you know, by the time module 2 rolls around, you'll get an email from me with who your buddy is, their email address, so that you can connect with each other and figure out how you want to set up maybe a weekly call to connect and see how you're doing. Does that sound like a good idea? This is yes. This is no. Some of you I can still see, so yeah. All right, so we'll see how that goes. All right, so let's get into some stuff. So, you know, the first thing I want to talk a little bit about is just the history and the background of this work. And you've heard you know, even in people talking about it and introducing themselves, you've heard a bunch of different types of language and different names for things. So there's kinesiology, there's muscle testing, there's muscle monitoring. You've heard me use muscle response feedback a lot. There's so many different names. No wonder it gets confusing for some people about exactly what it is. But so where did this all come from? So muscle testing, as it was originally done medically. And you know, back in the 40s and 50s, there was a classic book called Muscle Testing and Function that was actually written by a couple of nurses who were using muscle testing as a means of identifying where neurological injury might exist. So, you know, they knew back then that the nerves coming out of the different vertebrae, different levels of the spinal cord, affected different muscles. And if somebody had an injury and they weren't exactly sure where that injury was or was affecting, they could use muscle testing to kind of zero in on where the neurological problems were coming from. And so that kind of use of muscle testing was the main use of it for a long time. And then in 1964, there was a chiropractor in Detroit, Michigan by the name of George Goodhart. And George Goodhart is considered to be basically the father of applied kinesiology. And he, as so many, you know, great discoveries happen, pretty much stumbled into the concept that there was more to it than just the neurology, that muscles seem to respond to other stimuli. And so he started playing with that. And the first thing that he really figured out is that it seemed like every muscle in the body had a connection to a specific organ in the body. And so by testing certain muscles, and as a chiropractor, you know, testing, this is medical terminology, that was okay. And he started figuring out which muscles connected with which organs. But he also had a lot of experience in Eastern medicine and philosophies and things like that. And so once he identified that the muscle was connected to an organ, then it made sense that it was also connected to one of the meridians of Chinese acupuncture. because we know from thousands of years of that every meridian is also connected to an organ. So if the muscle's connected to an organ, obviously it's going to be connected to that related meridian. And that created this interesting little triangle of the energy, the physical, and this aspect of what a muscle test was actually indicating. So George started doing a lot of research, and a lot of other chiropractors became interested in that, and he created this large team of people who ended up referring to themselves as the Dirty Dozen. Not because there were 12 of them, it was because it was the 60s and the movie came out and they all kind of related to that radical motorcycle gang. And so they decided to call themselves the Dirty Dozen. Was that the motorcycle gang or whatever that was? And this research kept on getting developed, and they started finding more about what this aspect of pushing on arms and legs to challenge the integrity of specific muscles actually was doing and what it meant. Now, one of those chiropractors that was on that team was a guy by the name of John Thie. John Thie was from Southern California. And as they were learning more, what John was noticing was, you know, there's a lot of stuff here that can be done by anybody. You don't have to be a chiropractor. It doesn't involve doing adjustments and manipulations and things like that. You know, you test a muscle, you rub a reflex point, you test it again, and something changes and people start feeling better. Anybody can do that. So why don't we make this available to more people and not just doctors? And he kept hounding George about that until George finally said, you know, I'm too busy to deal with any of that. If that's something you want to do, go ahead and do that. And so John put together a package of the base research and techniques of what at the time was called applied, and is still called applied kinesiology. That's what George Goodheart called his body of work at that point. And so John Thie created this little package of that and started this little grassroots program of teaching people how to do these basic techniques. And his vision was that if everybody just did this within their own families, then you know, they're going to avoid having to go to the doctor and a lot of illnesses. And it was, you know, basically a wellness approach. And he called that Touch for Health. And Touch for Health was essentially applied kinesiology for lay people. And that grew and grew. It's now taught all over the world. It's done and people, you know, you can take the training. It's a series of 4 live workshops. And then you do a proficiency training, and then you can become an instructor and start teaching Touch for Health to people in your community. And it's grown all over the world. But what John didn't envision was that as more people started using this and combining it with what they knew about other healing art techniques, that it was going to integrate, and they were going to find other ways of using it. And people started coming back to John and saying, hey, look how we can do this. Let's put that in Touch for Health. And hey, what about this? You know, why don't you do some of that? And they were taking some of the basic techniques in Touch for Health and expanding on them and finding all kinds of amazing things they could do. And John was finally like, you know, this is meant to be simple and for families and whatever. So, you know, this is Touch for Health. And if you want to do that, then you go do that on your own. And it started this entire new profession, essentially, but for lay people. And now there's dozens, if hundreds of different styles of modalities based on muscle response feedback. But one of the issues has been the name. So, you know, it was applied kinesiology. Now we can't call it applied kinesiology. What do we call this? For a while it was called specialized kinesiology, was decided as a name. And then in America, people picked up on Donna Eden's, she had a name for it called energy kinesiology, that she said, as long as you don't use that to define a specific type of kinesiology, you can use it as an umbrella name. So when you might have seen my name followed by the initials EN.K. and that's energy kinesiologist. So for whatever that's worth and whatever it means to people. And yet this, kinesiology means the study of movement, and there's nothing just ever seemed to work to find a really good name. And so it's still a challenge, and I've adopted recently this aspect of muscle response feedback to just kind of give it a name that is what it is. You're pushing on an arm to challenge a muscle's integrity to hold or not. You're getting that response, and that response is feedback. This really is a hands-on biofeedback technique. And so depending on what the muscle does when you get that response, that's feedback to you, information about what's going on with a person and what they might want to do something about that. So that's kind of a little bit of the history there of how we got to where we are today with it all. And another thing that I think is really important I like to talk about is models. And I mentioned models in the webinar, and in this module you're going to see one of the video trainings, a specific little video on something called the bioenergetic model that I encourage you to watch, and because that gives kind of a better understanding. And that's what models are all about. Models are there to provide us a framework of understanding. But even in kinesiology and the use of energy, of muscle response feedback, we have some different models. And the two main ones come back to this aspect of what Touch for Health and applied kinesiology started as, which was one muscle as a means of checking an organ and its meridian. And then you'd go and check another muscle, and that would be a different organ and a different meridian. And there are, as you're going to learn in Module 3, if you don't already know a little bit about Chinese medicine, we have 12 bilateral meridians, and then we add 2 other meridians from another system to cover the midline of the body. So that's 14 meridians, and they represent more than, some of them have a couple of different correlations with different organs and glands. So by checking a number of different muscles, each of them related to a specific organ and or meridian, we can get this kind of energy readout of what's going on in the body. If there's 3 of those muscles that are unable to hold, and we look at what the 3 organs or glands that they're related to, that gives us information. And if we see any patterns, and we're always looking for patterns. Part of doing this work is becoming a detective and observing everything that comes so that you can kind of figure out, well, what does it all mean? And so by going through all these different muscles, I refer to that as the energy readout model of muscle response feedback. And then there's this other aspect of using a single muscle that we can use as kind of a global communicator. And this is the one that I refer to as the voice of innate intelligence. I used to call it the voice of the subconscious because, the subconscious knows everything that's going on in the body and is trying to compensate for that, which I talked a lot about in the webinar. And by the way, I've put the webinar onto the page of Module 1, but I've edited it so you don't have to listen to all my little sales raps and all that kind of stuff. And I took my long story out. It's just the training portion. So it's still just about an hour, and I've indexed it. So right under there, it's indexed to, where you can jump to the video to re-listen to certain parts, or, obviously you can watch the whole thing again. And refresh yourself on some of the models and aspects of things that I spoke about there. So the single muscle approach to communicating with the body is that voice of innate intelligence. And that's that muscle, regardless of what muscle you use, is called an indicator muscle. So I refer to that as the indicator muscle model, where you use just a single muscle to communicate more broadly and generally with the body. And so those are our two main models, the energy readout model and the indicator muscle model. And this course is going to be based on the indicator muscle model. We're just going to be learning one muscle, learning how to do it really well, learn how to make sure it's working, learn, and then use that to get the body to a basic level of balance and start identifying information from that, using some concepts from Chinese medicine and things like that. So that's a little bit about models, some history, a little bit about models of kinesiology or energy or muscle response feedback. And does anybody have any questions? Let me just check in here so far. Love the buddy system idea. Great. Okay. Okay, so it seems like nobody's got any specific questions or anything, but feel free to pop that in. Oh, look, we have Jane. Jane has joined us. Jane, do you want to say hi? Let's see if I can. I know a number of you know Jane, and Jane is going to be offering us one of our bonus sessions too. So let's let Jane introduce herself and say hi too. Thanks for being here.
Oh, hi everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm Jane Thurnell-Reed. I own Life Work Potential, which is test kits. Some of you are probably customers of mine, some of you are on my newsletter list. And it's great, I think, what Adam's doing, because we need more kinesiologists in the world, and we need more good kinesiologists in the world. And so I look forward to popping in and out on these sessions. I don't practice as a kinesiologist anymore. I started in 1982 and practiced kinesiology till around 2005. But I'm not a practitioner anymore, so but I was interested to pop in and just say hello and see you all and see what Adam's doing. So yeah, have a great time, learn lots, and go out and help people. Thanks.
There you go. That's what it's all about, huh? Thank you so much, Jane. That's awesome. Thanks for stopping in. So, okay. So let's just, how are we doing on time here? We got about 20 minutes. So what I'd like to do is just briefly cover a couple of the things that you're going to be watching videos about. And, you know, this is absolute square one, how to do muscle response feedback. And I know a lot of you on this call have experience with that already. So what I'm going to invite you to do is still watch the videos and go back to your beginner's mind aspect. And because, you know, this is an art as well as a skill. And so the invitation is to use this to kind of break things down and refine that skill. And I'm just gonna hit that mute all button again. And as you're going to see, and as I talked about in the webinar, the aspect of doing really quality muscle response feedback starts with the type of touch you use when you apply your pressure. And we're going to be using anterior deltoid. You're going to see a whole video on anterior deltoid, so I'm not going to, excuse me, take a lot of time on the specifics of that now. And don't forget to download the ebook, because there's a bunch of stuff in there too, including some pictures of the anatomy and physiology and all that. The main thing here is the quality of pressure. And I'm going to bring my arm up higher than I normally would do this muscle for, just so you can see. Because, you know, when I very first lately, there was always a lot of talk about how much pressure to use. And certainly, you know, in the chiropractic world, they seem to really just crank on that arm or leg and put a lot of pressure on. And there's so many different ways that people do this. And ultimately, people still get results. So it's hard to, you know, it's been hard to say, well, but you're doing it too this way, or you're not doing it enough that way, or whatever. And all of that is judgmental stuff anyway. So all I can do is share with you what I have found to be a best practice, because the reality is this is still based originally on a neurological model. And the neurology that we're paying attention to here is something called a spindle cell. And I'm going to quickly share my screen here with you. And let's see if I can. Well, that didn't go well. Can everybody see that? Everybody sees this picture of the spindle cell? Now, I'm not going to get into the deep neurology of this, you know, and all that. That's going to be for some later course. But the key thing here is that what you're seeing on the outside, and unfortunately, I don't think you see my mouse when I'm moving it around here, but the outside, larger, thick area is the part of the muscle that we always think about that does the work. And this is one fiber that, you know, and it comes in a bundle. Your muscles have various bundles of fibers, and depending on how many bundles actually get activated affects how far your muscle actually moves. But those fibers in the middle are called intrafusal fibers, and around each of them is wrapped these little nerves. And those nerves, that's that combination of those inner fibers and the nerves wrapped around them are your spindle cells. And what they're doing is they're reading the movement of the big outer shell fiber that's pulling on them. And in doing so, they're determining how much a muscle is contracted or extended and how fast it's doing that. And it's adapting to that based on what you're wanting to do consciously. So this is very involved in just maintaining your posture, for instance. I'm going to unshare now and come back to me. So, you know, just standing here without even moving, there are 5 million messages per second going between my muscles and my brain, because consciously, I simply want to maintain this posture. But as a fiber fatigues, then that immediately gets felt in that spindle cell, and a compensation is activated to activate another nearby bundle of fibers to help you maintain your posture. And this is going on all the time. And so those spindle cells are doing all of this reading of what's going on and adjusting for that. And so the key to what we're doing when we apply pressure is we're challenging the spindle cell to see if what it's doing, if it's up to snuff here and doing what it's supposed to be doing. But I need to give it the chance to adapt. So it's not about the pressure. It's not about how much pressure you use. It's about the quality of the pressure. And the main quality that I want to get across to you for best practice muscle monitoring is to apply your pressure very gradually. And what that does is it allows the spindle cell to adapt to that pressure. So even if I start pushing really hard, as I'm doing to myself right now, the isolated muscle of the position I've put my arm or leg in is able to adapt and maintain that position without bringing in other muscles to support it and give the muscle the time to adapt and give you the time to identify from that isolated muscle, is it able to hold against this pressure? So it's all about the gradualness. And if you go really gradually, you should have no movement. And so that's going to be my challenge to some of you experienced guys who maybe have a slightly different way of doing it. And maybe you get some movement and then it locks or whatever it is, that to go back. And if you want to try and adjust your habits to this, you know, changing habits is one of the toughest things there is to do. So it's one thing to start with that gradual pressure when all you're focusing on is that. But then later, when we start bringing in other things like touching a point and then pushing on the muscle or whatever it is, as soon as you bring your focus over here, the tendency is to go back to your old habit of how you're doing it. And so you need to slow down. That's key. Take your time with this and just practice that. And later, for those of you that this would matter for, when you touch a point, bring your attention back to the arm before you apply the pressure. That's the only way to change a neurological habit, is to slow down, bring your conscious focus back to exactly what you're doing. And when you do that enough times, the new habit gets ingrained. For you newbies, I just encourage you to really take your time and see what that feels like to just add gradual pressure. And there's an exercise on a video, the first video that I want you to watch regarding this is called the push hands video. And that's an exercise designed specifically to help you develop that awareness of how much pressure do I really need before I feel what the response is. And there were some people I know that have kinesiology experience that were saying, you know, I still sometimes am not so confident with my response and, you know, what I get from a person, or, you know, I'm good when I am with experienced people, but when it's somebody that doesn't know what I'm doing, it gets a little tougher to read. And for whatever reason, that is the case very often. So take your time and really try and slow down. Do the push hands experience with a number of different people. Do that exercise and start really feeling at what point, with the pressure that we're putting on each other, and I put on this person and they're matching my pressure back, when do I first feel that difference? And I have this quote here that I came across online the other day that I just want to share with you regarding the push hands exercise. And this comes from a woman named Linda Chase Broda in the Taiji forum that's online. And what she said is, our aim in pushing hands, as in most of life's interactions, is to act in response to action without creating resistance. That is so key, because if, you know, when you can just push on the arm in a way that a person doesn't feel like they have to resist, because when they resist, they're going to tighten up, they're going to use other muscles, it's just going to complicate things. And all we want to do is isolate that muscle and get that single muscle's response. even though we're not challenging that muscle related to its organ or gland or meridian, we're using it as a global indicator, we still want to isolate a single muscle to be the indicator muscle. Because when you start fudging on your positions and you monitor a muscle that might be actually a group of muscles, you never know. You know, one of those muscles might not be on compared to the others. And so what response are you actually getting when you do a challenge? Are you doing a challenge? Are you getting a response to the challenge? Or are you getting a response because one of the muscles just isn't working as well as it could be? So when we isolate a muscle and we identify that that specific muscle is working properly, then we can be sure that the answers we get from the body after that are going to be accurate. So I'm going to finish this quote. I'll repeat the beginning part. Our aim in pushing hands, as in most of life's interactions, is to act in response to action without creating resistance. If there is no resistance, then any conflict is automatically neutralized. If we become one with the opposing force, then the force is already powerless. If there is nothing to push against, there is no conflict. Great quote, absolutely great quote. And it really speaks to the relationship that, you know, you're going to be developing between yourself and the person you're working with. And that's going to get reinforced by the video about the bioenergetic model that you watch. So that aspect of if there's no resistance, if we become one with the opposing force, then the force is already powerless. There's nothing to push against. So that's the quality of touch that you want to bring into your muscle monitoring by adding gradual pressure. And so out of this first module, that's the most important thing that I want you to get, and that I want you to practice with people to develop that quality of touch. If you can do that and get really good at it, you're going to sail through the rest of it, and you're going to be able to more easily understand and interpret the results you get through your muscle feedback. So, any questions about that? Let's see. Do you ever have clients that you can't test? No. You know, that's just, you know, we all go through that. We all go through that aspect of trying to figure out. And here's another key point that relates to this aspect of going gradually. Because when we do run into somebody, for whatever reason, you know, you get people that are really muscular and they're like, oh, no problem, whatever. And we get intimidated by that. Or sometimes maybe a person comes in and they are just really locked up, and then you have to have some skills as to what to do about that. And we will get to that. But if you're finding that everybody seems to be locked up, then they're more likely it's something on your end. And the problem, the challenge is that when you run into a person like that, the tendency is to push harder. I'm not getting a result. They're really strong. I better push harder. And all that does, just like that quote says, is it inspires resistance. And somebody who's muscular can very easily recruit other muscles without it even being very apparent, unless you're really skilled and can see that. So when that happens, the way to get around it is to go even more gradually. Because if a muscle cannot hold and you go super gradually, it just doesn't have any other options but to let go. And so that is the key to that, is to just take your time, go more gradually, but keep gradually adding pressure. And even if the muscle, you know, if you know that a really locked muscle that has the opportunity to respond to gradual pressure has no movement, then even the slightest movement means that the muscle is now unlocked. Anything that's not a lock is an unlock. Sometimes it's going to feel mushy. Sometimes it's going to bounce. Sometimes the person might just use other muscles and push up higher against you. Whatever it is, you know, that muscle's gone. But if you just apply that gradual pressure, increase it to a couple of pounds, feel that response meeting you, and the muscle holds without movement, then that's a good lock. And that's what you're looking for in a locked muscle. Okay, a couple of people had to leave, have to leave. And I think, okay, where can I access the course notes and videos you're talking about? Well, if you should have gotten the link to the course homepage, and then on the upper side there's a drop-down menu. What does it say? Course modules, I think, something like that. And the first one says Module 1. So when you drop that down, you hit Module 1, that's going to take you to that page. Any of the other modules are going to say this module is not available yet and give a date. But Module 1 is live. It's all there. So you have videos, you have the book at the bottom, the ebook to download and print if you want to print it. There's a quiz at the bottom, and there's a bunch of objectives. There's a list of objectives that some of them you can check off. The videos are automatic. So once you watch the video, you're going to get the check mark there. And then you have a bar at the top and a circle down on the left that are going to track your progress in each module and tell you what percentage you've completed. So just go through that, answer the questions in the quiz. It's not like a big test or anything like that. There's 5 questions in Module 1, and that's designed to just help you as a learning tool. So let's see. Well, it's exactly 12:30. So should we counterbalance when testing? Putting your hand on the person's shoulder. Well, yeah, you'll see in the video about anterior deltoid, you can be touching. I wouldn't say counterbalance, because that suggests that there's an extra force going into it. For this muscle, you know, it's nice to kind of complete the circuit, so to speak. You can touch the other person. The main thing is to not be touching the muscle that you're getting feedback from. So I'm not going to put my hand here. I'm also not going to put it on the opposite shoulder on the muscle of the shoulder. Muscles work in circuits, so, but you could have it on the back or on the hip or something like that. There's no problem with doing that. Well, I think that brings us to the end of the Module 1 official live training. So if there are no other questions, all I'm going to encourage you to do is, you know, go watch the videos, download the book. There's lots of support there. Join the Facebook group, and, you know, feel free to post up there what you're finding. And if you have any challenges, there's a lot of experienced people in the course to get feedback from. I'll be on the board as well, so I can respond here and there as I can. But get out there and practice. Try and get at least 3 to 5 people this week that you can do this, monitor the anterior deltoid and do the spindle cell technique, because that's how you tell whether the muscle's working or not. And there's a video on exactly how to do that. And on that note, I think we're going to wrap it up. So, hey, everybody, this is great. This was really fun. I hope you had fun too. Thank you so much for being here. This is the beginning of a journey, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how you all do with the journey ahead. And I'm really looking forward to being part of that journey. So thanks so much. And We'll see you next week at the same time next Wednesday at 11 a.m. Until then, have fun. Bye, everybody.